Hi there, this is Anyssa from the Communication Studio. Welcome. I am here to offer you information on building your customer list and creating your perfect customer life cycle while connecting them with your list. So today I have a few slides here I'd like to share with you. And first of all, this is one of my favorite slides. Who's this so perfect? Marketing used to be very simple. You used to have a product, you'd go to the store, you'd buy it, or you'd go to a trade show, you would buy it. You would have someone come to your door, and you would buy it. Very simple. There wasn't a lot of follow-up. There wasn't a lot of connection between the marketing and the actual sales. So this is what is different now. Now we have all these different ways to sell to our customers. Actually, this is probably the simplified version. This chart here, or this rainbow of options that we now have, from how to sell our music, how to distribute documents, aggregation of our videos. There are quite a few options here. But this is actually from a few years ago. So, and the one thing you should probably put in the middle here as well, other than just this conversation that's going on, that's going back and forth between sales and marketing and purchasing and reaction, is Google, who is actually moderating it with programs like Penguin and other stuff, which I'm sure it'll have a new name in the next 6 months as well. So even though this looks really simple, or should I say this looks really complicated now, it's actually simple compared to even what's going on now. And if you haven't got something that's going to help you moderate that yourself, and you're dealing with more than 3 clients, I'd recommend you find a way to, anything that you're repeating in your business, to systematize it, whether it's a CRM or some sort of automation of your email. Is probably something that you should do. So tonight we're going to talk about traffic attraction strategies, lead capture and nurture strategies, growth cycles on your sales funnel. And your sales funnel is something actually that I find is kind of it's almost an archaic term, but we're going to use it because for ease of understanding what each other is talking about, and what I'm talking about tonight, everyone pretty much understands the sales funnel now. I think the challenge is that we're, as marketers and people in sales, we're understanding that the sales funnel really is changing. The function is changing because it's not just pouring people in the top, shooting them out the bottom. It's more interactive. It's more on a vertical plane or horizontal plane than up and down. So, and that's part of the goal in building a good customer life cycle, is that you're not just dealing with a funnel, shooting someone out the bottom. It's all the things that can happen in between. And so what I would love to do is help you tonight with mapping out your email marketing strategy and your lead capture strategy, as far as where are you finding your customers, how are you doing it, and what's your plan once you get a hold of them. So that's the plan for tonight. So there was good news when we saw that smaller circle, and part of the good news is that there's more options now, but part of that also means that it's more complicated now for some people. What we do is we have more options to deal with crisis. We have more support. We have more product support. We have more options for sales. We have more options for marketing and PR, and more options to get out into different communities. Very interesting story I heard about American politics is that now they all get their own individual newspapers, whereas before everyone was reading from the same newspaper, getting the same information. So it's that you want, but you don't know if someone else is going to get the same information. So there is a juxtaposition as far as information going on as well, because you don't know what people are doing. So in the past, like the guy with the box, it was a little bit too simple because they couldn't necessarily see what they were doing. They were marketing and then they were selling, and it was mostly just push, 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 get to the next sale. There was not a lot of communication between the sales team and the marketing team and the data. They didn't have surveys that went out at the end of a sale. Like, I know when Canadian Tire calls me, I know that if I go to Canadian Tire, they're going to call me afterwards and ask me how my experience was. They just didn't have the same tools, and they didn't have even just the people at a lower cost to be able to have a sales follow-up team like they can do now. Like they can outsource to India and other places because English is now becoming such a, well, it is such a big part of everyone's culture now that it's easier to find people at a lower rate to fulfill some things that used to cost a lot of money. So as well, just even the packaging and how we're doing things is different. So, and the volume of being able to ship is different, importing, exporting. Even just when you're going to write a book these days, if you decide to do an ebook, you can sell it and add a new chapter later so people can just come for the upgrade, which is great. Same with software. So now we have all those options, and they all seem like for somebody they're going to be the right tool. But if you haven't got a way to manage that, you could really be wasting your time. How many people are running on spreadsheets still? I mean, I just talked to a lady the other day. I said, well, do you have the names of the people? Have you followed up with them? And she's like, well, I've got them on a spreadsheet. I've got to go find their business cards. You know, I'll get back to you. As opposed to being able to export them from a list that she knew if they'd been to a website, or be able to track them. So having the right tools is going to really help you to moderate and track and know which opportunities are going to work for you, so you don't end up wasting a lot of time and get screwed. So as far as filling this thing we are going to call a funnel, and look for opportunities to build that list that, and encourage you to build and nurture more leads. Here's a list from Bosco's presentation during Social Media Week. I just pulled his list because it seemed good. As well, what he does really well is he knows extremely well how to track these as well. So even outside of a normal CRM, there's ways to track even just like what the mood of is in a country. For Twitter, you can actually project now what the box office take will be when they look at Twitter for a new movie coming out, which is kind of cool, and he has access to all that information, and he can show you how to find it. So as far as distributing content and where it's coming into the funnel, you've got what do people use here out of this? Love to hear your feedback. Some people are podcasting. Press releases are a great one. It's how you get them out there that's important as well. Having forums and groups, email marketing, social bookmarking, article directories, things like that. There is some, with article directories, you're finding there is a change again with Google. Always changing. So, a typical customer life cycle after you've done all of that, after you've generated the lead. So we're going to go from that down to getting them in the funnel. Then you're going to sell to the hot ones. Hopefully you have a way to track that. You're going to get the new customers. You're going to convert those to a sale. And generally you would sigh big relief, and then you go back and start more. And that's our guy with the box and the suit. That's generally what he's doing, right? But nowadays, because we are pouring so many things into the funnel and they're coming from so many different places, it is a challenge to track them. So we have lost traffic. And if you have lost traffic, then you have lost leads. Hence, as you can see, we don't get the same sales that we possibly could if we were following up with the people that were coming up in the beginning. Part of this is because we're focusing on focusing on just getting people into the funnel without a pure plan and a strategy on how you're going to keep people in the funnel and follow up and give them individual attention and see what they need. Some of our leads that come in are going to be really long-term leads. You've got real estate. Even like I think a wedding dress is actually a really good example these days. I have a friend that just bought a $5,000 wedding dress. She's purchased, she planned for a year ahead. She saved it. She has now purchased it, put a deposit on it, and her mom's paying for the other half. That was a really long-term plan. So between, and it ended up being a Vera Wang dress, when they came into town, they contacted her, they stayed in contact with her, and it's a long-term purchase. So what are you doing to follow up with those people who are planning for those long-term purchases? These days, a lot of people are budgeting for some of those bigger things. They're not all putting it on credit cards. So don't ignore those long-term strategies and fill those holes in your funnel. And those might be through some of those ones that are listed above as well. Because if you're not using those tools and you're not adding it all up, you're going to have a lot of chaos. So if you have a clear plan, then you can make less moves and have them be more effective. So part of that is automating. I always say to people, if you're doing anything more than 3 times in your business, you need to find a way to automate it, because then you can repeat it and you can grow it and you can expand it. So to do that and know it, you need to be tracking it. So do you know when you make a sale how much time it took to get that person to convert to a sale? Are you tracking if they came in on Facebook, if they came and looked at your website? Are you looking at your Google Analytics and seeing how much time they spent on your page? Did they go to YouTube and did they watch your videos? What did they do before they converted to a sale? And once that happens, are you putting that information together to see what was really effective? So do you have a system for doing that? If not, you're going to have a hard time getting to where you want. So if you want to get to those sales quicker, then you want to have a map and show people, maybe if you see that they're doing 5 different things, they're going to your website, they're making sure they're reading their email, they're watching your video, then you need to make a system out of that and make sure that it's delivered to them so they're not having to search for it. You might as well give them the roadmap. And once they've made the sale, are they calling in for warranty work? Are they calling for how to set something up? What are they calling for? Why not just automate that and make sure it gets out to them as soon as they've made a purchase, a follow-up email. Here's our 1-800 number. If you're missing any parts or if you'd like to upgrade or whatever, make sure that system is already automated. Make sure you've given them the map. Here's an example of the incoming plan for a financial planner. She's got a letter prepared. That might be a press release. She's got her website set up there with a web form and a free offer. They're saying now on Facebook now to get people to like you, you really need to have a free offer as well because their strategies are changing. She has a free 1-hour consultation, and she's got a follow-up system here. Financial planner, you are looking at something long term. So the other thing she might add in here might be an event. It might be an SMS text before the event or before tax season or something that people opt into, things like that. Maybe a postcard as well. It's tax season, why don't you be saving up for your rainy day? So to systematize this, here's a little bit of a worksheet that we can go through. We can look at traffic attraction strategies. So one of the things I'm doing today is, I did earlier today, was going over blogging with a small group of people and looking at how their content can help drive them traffic and help be part of their strategy to get people into their funnel, get their names, and start marketing to them. Same with social media. If you want to know more about online marketing, talk to Bosco about your pay-per-click and your SEO. SEO is really it's not one thing. It's a group of things that becomes a web that helps you be successful. And the strategies for that are always changing because the algorithms and the programs are always changing as well. And the other thing too is to set up strong referral partners and see where that will lead you and track them. If you find that something isn't working, then don't do it. But you don't know unless you're tracking it. If you have someone who says they're going to be doing sales for you and you don't find that anything's converting, then you need to look into that. So you need to look at what your capture strategies are. So once you've got the interest, what is your magnet? What is your really strong magnet that's going to get people to opt into your list if they don't know who you are, if they haven't come out to a seminar, to give you their business card so you can put them on your list with permission because you've given them something for free. What are you doing to get them to request a quote or get a demo and log in to get that free trial? What are you doing? What I do is, you'll see on the back of your card is I put a business card on every seat, and you'll see on the back there's a QR code as well as just the email link there, and there's a 7-step seminar for to 7 Steps to Success for Small Business there. It's a free webinar. You do have to log in twice to get it. It's a double opt-in thing there so that there's no spamming or anything going on and you don't feel like you're going to be sold something that you couldn't use. I know because you showed up here, you're probably interested. So once you've got those leads and they've said we're interested, what are you doing to nurture those people and decide whether they're hot, warm, or cold? So as you're sending out, once you've decided on what your strategy is, do you have an email with something that they can click on that shows what they're interested in? So maybe if you're selling houses, you've got big, small, and medium-sized houses. And in that email, you got a way to track what they're clicking on as far as their interest. Or do you have a survey that can go out with maybe a prize? What can you do to personalize their experience with you and make every message really relevant to them? How can you do that? And still be doing it with some automation too is going to be one of the keys. So one of the things I love, I actually just got this email the other day and it was like, oh, finally, I love this. It's simple. It's like the funnel, but it's the other side. This is what's going on inside the funnel. Once the customer is in there, the CRM is the center of the universe. So it can, now you have a social CRM, it can create affiliate systems for you. It can do squeeze pages. You can create your banner ads and things like that and track them through your affiliates. They've got analytics right inside them, as well as your shopping cart and your email system and even just your planning system. And they can track all of that for you, which is pretty amazing. It's come a long way. So what do you do? How do you follow up? Especially now that you've got that person and you've made a sales conversion, what is your strategy now? If you have any objections to upgrades, what are you doing to keep that customer? What are you doing to make sure that they share and are happy with what they've got? How are you converting that sale to the next sale as well? And I think that's where the funnel idea is kind of changed, is that people aren't shooting down the bottom of the funnel. It's that they've bought one product. How can what's been lost, I think, over the years is that sense of loyalty. And so how can you build loyalty again within your strategies? And I think part of that is by really wowing your customers, having a system, being reliable, and measuring how your actions are working. Because then once you've done that, you can make sure that they have opportunities to keep purchasing from you, whether it's from you or through a joint venture product possibly, and just keep making sure that your customer's getting what they need. It's about getting to know them as well and listening to what they're doing and what they need, because then they are going to give you referrals. And hopefully you've got a way to track those, for example, through your CM with an affiliate system, and through social promotion and Facebook and things like that. It's a challenge. But again, what does that look like? So this is based on kind of a whiteboard concept where you just really work it out. You take those different sections and think about what the opportunities are as you go through the different steps in your cycle. I'm happy to sit down with someone and go through this. Bring me a white piece of paper and we'll get started. Happy to do that over there at the end of the seminar. I get a big kick out of this, and I'm sure once you take it to Bosco, he can even help you take it to the next level as well. So if you would like help and you don't get time to talk to me tonight to map your perfect customer life cycle, you can get a hold of me at the Communication Studio. There's a free template there. There is, there's two websites actually. There's the Communication Studio and Communication Studio. The templates are actually, if you scan the back of your card and go to that website and log in as a member, there's free templates there and you can access the webinar. As well, it'll help you to write down your key tactics and look at how your customers are flowing through your business and how you can keep them coming back and help you identify kind of what's going on. So don't get bogged down with the little things. Look at what your whole strategy is. It's going to drive everything. And this is one sample of one of the worksheets that you can get. And please follow me on Twitter, as well as you are welcome to follow the hashtag tonight. And if you have any questions, please come and see me after. Take care.